they were when they started. And that is a very big pitfall, because as long as there's a brand that you're trying to keep alive, then you have to keep on making branding efforts. It's not a one-off job. And then the brand identity, that's the last B, is all the elements of your company. So, like I mentioned earlier, how you use your digital platforms, your brand tone, your brand voice, your colors, I mean, and another thing is, now that I remember, I just think to put it out there, is people feel like they have to have some certain persona online, and offline it's not the same thing. Great brands, um, the way you are online should be like, we should get the same feeling as to what you are offline. If not, you've been scamming us, as far as I'm concerned. So if someone sees me online, or sees, it's just like social media. Of course, I know like social media is very hyped and very curated. But authenticity, right? It should not be very different from who you are, except if not, you're a scam artist, you're a fraud, and you're a liar, as far as I'm concerned. So you should not be very nice online and always like, oh yeah, all of that, and offline you all are not nice people. And the downside to that is that with social media, look, anybody's going to call you out. And I've been working, so I work a lot with startups, and it's a very crazy game there. So you can be like a good person, or like as a founder, you're so busy trying to get your company together, and maybe somebody says, and then you have a team. That is, well, I mean, I'll get to it later, and they're not doing as much as you are, and somebody calls you out online. You might not know when that stuff will come back and bite you, because one thing about VCs and angel investors and stuff is, when they hear about your company and stuff like that, the next thing they want to do is look for you. So if you're not um if you don't make that effort to synergize your online and offline methods, and to make sure that all of these things are um you know very tight, then you might have a problem. Okay, so branding in the digital age. So in the past, right, um branding was not a big deal, because, to be honest, only the very big companies had like the budgets for it. um they're the ones that you see on the billboards, on TV, and all of that. But the way the world is going, everything is digital. So somebody can really just wake up and start a business. You don't need to have an office space. Um, I can't remember the last time I walked out from an office complex, to be honest, because so when I started working at the very early parts of when I started working, I would work in the traditional office building, right? Go to work in the morning, and like you see everybody there with suits and skirts, and very very office, like an office environment. And afterwards, I started working out from workspaces, right? And workspaces, a lot of people there are involved, like they're in the tech space, they're in the digital space. So you could literally see somebody come to the office with shorts, a shirt, and their laptop, and that's their office wear. No tie, no suit, nothing. Um, and I worked in workspaces for a little over 2 years. Um, and now I just work remotely. What I'm saying is that a lot more people are starting out businesses from their rooms, from their cars, even. Um, Once you have your mobile device or your laptop, basically a device that can connect to the internet, which is right now the world, you're good to go. So it is like, branding in digital age is something that you should, whenever you're thinking branding, it's not just enough to have an office building and maybe like a sign poster or something like that. You also have to very much think about what your online presence looks like. Okay. Oh my gosh, I've shown y'all the answer. Oh, okay. I've shown y'all the answer. But for people that did not see it, let's play a game. Again, because I said I want this to be as very interactive as it can possibly be. So, how long do you think it takes for people to form a perception of your brand? Like once they visit your website or your social media page, how long do you think it takes? If you saw my answer, don't say anything and don't give people expo. So I'm expecting like answers from the chat session. Hmm. Anybody? Okay. 30 seconds. Any other person? Okay, let me just type the question. Oh, I missed the answer. 5 minutes or more. A day, maybe. Okay. Any other person? Okay, we'll go with this answers. 30 seconds, 5 minutes or more, a day, maybe. Okay. So 1 minute. All right. Okay. So study shows that you have about 10 seconds to convince your website visitors to stay or they are gone for good. And HubSpot is very generous. Someone literally said as long as the perception takes. Um, well, the answer is about 10 seconds. So you know how we do these things as humans subconsciously, that when we see somebody, it's a very human thing. Let's if we're being honest, that you see somebody and immediately you already form like, even when you're not actively trying to do, it's just a subconscious thing. Um the word we use is you size people up, right? When you just subconsciously do it, and in your mind's eye you can already tell maybe the job the person has. You can already tell all of these things just by looking at somebody. You've never spoken to this person, or you just seen the person, and boom, your mind already starts creating a profile about the person, either good or bad. It's the same way your website visitors act, because like I said, study shows that you have about 10 seconds to convince somebody that doesn't know you at all to just stay put with your brand. So it might be somebody might just come and be like, why does this person's website look like this? Very jaga jaga, or it looks very weird or anything like that. Um, if it's not all put together, then your website visitors might just churn, and it's harder to convince somebody to come back when they're gone the first time. It's always easier the first time they love you. You continue, with that momentum, and you can even convert them to clients and overall as a fan. So I'll just quickly be sharing tips and tricks that work when you're trying to build a brand. Um the first thing is to define who you are, because if you don't, to be honest, people would do that for you. And if there's anything I've learned, is that it's always best you control the narrative. If you don't control the narrative, then look, people can say, oh, is it not that brand? I think this is what they do, or maybe that is what they do, or whatnot. But if you're constantly reinforcing what it is that you do, you're always carrying out yourself the best way you want your brand to be projected, then people will come to perceive you in that light as well. And the very first phase is if you're the founder or you're the CEO, or if you're going into it with co-founders, the very first thing before any other person can write your story, it's best people involved in the foundation of the business come together and try to say who they are, who you are as a company, what you want to be known for, um, um, what you want people to remember you for, and all of that. And a good trick is to use. Oh, my battery is running low. A good trick is to use the the Golden Circle by Simon Sinek. Start by asking yourself the why. Like, why do you want to do this? What are you doing, and how you're going to go about it. The next thing is to be clear on your ideal customer. Who do you want to reach out to as a brand? Because that helps to um that helps to direct how you talk. That helps to direct the people you even bring together as a team. So you want to know the customers you want to reach. The next thing you want to think about is positioning. You want to position yourself the way you want to position yourself. So what do you want people to how do you want people to perceive you? you know um I'm going to Akiola, for example. So I do business with Akiola, and one thing I know is that he's very customer focused. He didn't even have to tell me. I mean, you could talk to any member of his team and they give you that same energy as though you're talking to Akinola, right? And when he said it when we we're having a conversation, I'm like, you don't even have to say this. That's in my head anyway. Because just the way you've built that thing, you've built your brand even from the inside. Everybody knows that when you think about one net service, they're very, very customer focused. Oh my gosh, I just pitched your business, Akiola. Okay, you did not pay me to do that. But it's very
Thank
true.
you.
Very true. Keep it simple. You don't have to, you can start really small and then pan out. Um, but the simpler, the easier to implement, and just keep it simple and clean. You don't have to be very ambiguous about everything. Then develop a plan. I am a sucker for having a plan for everything. If you want to have a social media, if I want to launch a social media campaign, I start with a plan. It's so if you don't, that saying, like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's the same thing, because your branding, like branding, is a project, and you need to have a plan for that. How you want to run, milestones, deliverables, all of those things need to go into your plan. Then involve your team. If you're not a solopreneur, if you have a team, it's not just you. You have to make sure that that culture is ingrained in everybody you work with. Use digital platforms, my dear. Everybody is online. Your customers are online. The best thing is to identify where they are, and then to leverage these platforms. So if they are on Instagram, for example, I know Instagram works well for lifestyle, lifestyle business, so food, fashion, um, the creative industry. Instagram is very good on that. If you're very, very, if your target audience are professional savvy people, you want to know how to best to leverage LinkedIn, and then Twitter, goes for, you find Twitter's in all corners of here. You find everybody there, and I mean everybody is on Twitter. Um, and then you review, be consistent, sorry. Like I mentioned earlier, branding is not a day's job. It's something you have to continue doing. If you, as long as you have a brand, you want to ensure branding efforts. And then you review. So it's not because I did my brand. Some people say I did my branding when I started. Are you even listening to yourself? um you don't just do it one day and then if it doesn't work. So that's the beauty about all of these things, right? You can measure the performance and the impact. If it's not working, then go back to your drawing board, and re-strategize. It's not, it doesn't have to be set in stone, right? Once you see new people are going to this side of the market, how can we leverage this? Go back and, just the same way you revisit your business plan, you should also revisit your branding efforts. Thank you. And then questions. So if you have questions, now will be the time.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Miss Olamide.
You're welcome.
So we're open to questions. Do you have questions about your brand? Please, you can put it up in the chat or ask or mute yourself to ask the questions. So I have a question to start with. And my question is centered around, you know, there's this thing that we talk about culture, brand value, and things like that. How do you separate your team brand culture and the company's overall value digitally? So take for instance now we have Paystack, right? You know, there's this culture of the Paystack team that they have, which I believe sometimes is more personal, right? Then there's the overall Paystack brand identity that you can see on social media and the colors and things like that. How do you separate them? I know they all have a place where they converge,
Yeah.
that somewhere where they converge, but then how do you separate them in the sense that individual team members still stay in touch with the culture that it's in the company already, without encroaching those company culture into the brand identity that you have online?
Okay. So if you remember, I said in the branding process, as best as you can, always involve your team members. When I talk to people, especially no shade, um, you a lot of people like, oh, this is a business, and from the get-go, we've always said you have to separate business from personal and all of these things and all of these things. But you find out that the best brands are brands that are human. And when you say a brand is human, it's like you're talking to an actual person and not a bunch of files and pre-written scripts and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know if anybody was aware, but recently Paystack released their a playlist of like the songs they like, in the office and stuff like that. That was a very human thing to do, and that stemmed from who they are, who the team, what they do in house. So I can imagine that they probably like to vibe to certain type of songs. They're like, oh, we have a great taste in music, all of us, collectively. How about we share that with the world and stuff? So you find that I'm like, oh, so they share that online. They even, like I said, made a whole playlist, shared it on their Twitter handle, and everybody, jumped on that trend and said, "Oh, I like this. This is very great. Paystack has done it again, and all of that and all that." So I think the better question would be, how can you make sure that your team members um, imbibe imbibe the company culture so much so that it becomes their own culture as well. Of course, not to say that they don't have their personal lives. Somebody might be a cat person, another person a dog person. All of that, it's fine. But um, like I said, starting to define who you are. So your brand should also have values, right? So empathy might be a value, a core value for you. Hard work, um, um, constantly learning, all of these things. And when it's just the same way you try to train your members of staff so that when they're talking to a customer, they have their best foot forward and stuff. I mean, at first it might be a bit wobbly and stuff, but that's the thing about habits, right? We all have the capacity to imbibe new and good habits. So it starts again by defining who you are as a company, and then try as much as possible to let your team appreciate those values and before you know it, they also imbibe that so much so that even when they're not in the company, they even become more empathic in their day-to-day lives. You don't have to have a book reading club. You don't have to. So I know some businesses, they do this thing where every month or every 6 weeks they read a book, right? At first, when they start, it might not be. Not everybody likes to read, um, but once you do that and it kind of becomes a culture, you find out that people don't even have to wait for the next book. If they find another one, they just wait. So it's a two-way street, really. But just um defining who you are starts there, and just amassing a team of people that would bring that vision to light.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do we have any question from the participants? Any question? Going. Okay, if you don't have any question now, I believe there can be some other questions at the end towards the end of the session. So thank you so much, Ms. Olamide. Thank you so much. We really learned, a lot about perception and, how to define our brand. So I would like to invite Mr. Victor Guatana, who happens to be the design consultant at Foxtel Brand, to please come on board and walk us through designs. Thank you, Mr. Victor.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. And I'm happy to be here. And thanks for One Minute Servers for giving me this opportunity to have this session. I really appreciate it. And
You are welcome.
let's dive into it. Please, my voice is kind of, I don't know, I've been having cold since Monday. So is it okay now? Should I increase my volume?
I think we can hear you.
Okay, good. So once again, my name is Guatana Victor, and I'm the head of creative services of Foxtel Brands, and I am also a contract designer for various firms. So,
Awesome.
and I'm happy to have you here today. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, just a minute. Okay. Sure. So I think you have my screen with you. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So this morning we're talking about design in the age of social media. So before I proceed, let's just have a little breakdown of what design means and what social media means. And the introductory aspect also, let's go about that. Due to the rapid growth of social media, a lot of people are exposed to a lot of content on the internet. And when I mean social media, I mean platform that enable you to share content with friends and family and connect with other people. So for example, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so on. So with the need to read or view message in seconds, like in a very short time, and most especially on small screens, graphic design is a very important tool to connect or send a specific message in a very short period of time. And Graphic designers actually help us communicate our messages from one media, from the sender to the receiver in a very short period of time without actually reading a lot of texts. I would say we Nigerians are really in this situation, like we don't really want to waste our time doing the readings. We just want to grab the information and let's talk in and let's just know what is what. So graphic design has actually helped us to like help businesses to connect to customers or audience in a very short period of time. So now, what is design itself? I actually came up with a lot of definition based on research, and I come up with them in a very short way. The first definition is visual representation of abstract idea. Design is a visual representation of abstract idea. That means when you are actually talking to someone and you don't actually have a concrete content to use to illustrate what you're talking about. It looks kind of odd and it makes people not understand what you're really talking about. But when there's a visual content to back up what you're talking about, even if they don't actually understand what you're saying, the picture is going to send a lot of message to them. So I still say design is a visual communication and presentation, which means design is a means of having a conversation, like without talking. Most of us can actually have chatting, like you can chat on instant messaging apps without even saying a word out. As long as that one exists, the design to graphic design also exists and has its own impact in the means of communication, which means you can graphically send a message and the person that doesn't even understand or hears your language will understand the message you are sending through the visual, the graphical content you send to that person. So design also is an arrangement of elements or details in a product or work of art. That means design is not just a visual graphical representation, it's an organized combination or collection of various elements to represent information on a product or services or work of art. It's also a creative art of executing aesthetic or functional design. So I can say there's a connection between all these definitions and linking it to the ICAR from theory. Design holds four things: the idea, the communication, the arrangement, and the function. So design is a form of sending a message in an appealing way, which means if you have an idea inside of you, nobody hears it. If you have to communicate it and using the wrong content, it's going to send another message. And if the message you are sending doesn't perform its function, that means it's just a total waste of time. So a good design comprises of the idea itself, the communication medium, which is the platform you're going to send it through, and the organization of these elements, and the function, that is what you are going to achieve after sending the design. Please, hope you are hearing me, please.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good, thank you. So, social media, the definition of social media, I actually break it into two aspects, as in it's just the two words to like social and media. So, social is related to society or to the way the society is organized, and the media is a means of communication. So, in combining those two words, that means social media is a computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of idea, thoughts, information through the building of virtual network and communities. By design, social media is an internet-based and gives users quick electronic communication of content that includes personal information, documents, and videos and photos. Users engage with social media via computer, tablet, smartphone, and via web-based softwares or web applications. They always utilize the use of instant messaging. So that is what social media is all about. It's just a connection, sending a message, like a platform where you can connect with people and share ideas on information, sharing of resources. So So that is what social media is about. So, and what does social media and design have in common? They have two things in common: communication. And when we're talking about communication, that means there's going to be a message being sent, and there's going to be someone that's going to receive the message. Sending an information from one source to another. And another thing they have in common is the resources itself that is sent. What type of resources? Is it video? Is it text? Is it images? So design and social media have those things in common. And design help us to deliver all these, it help us to execute all these scenarios in a very short period of time without stressing ourselves. So how does it now impact businesses on social media? There's what I actually say, like design is wide on its own, but graphic design is another section of design. And the main aim and objective of graphics design is you are interpreting an abstract information. You are sending a message to someone, even if that person doesn't knows your language, even if that person is if that person cannot talk, if that person cannot hear, as long as the brain is working, once it is visual, once the person has an eye, he's going to understand in his mind that this is what this person is talking about. And back to what I was saying, how does it impact businesses on social media? Design sells. Good design is recognized as a major differentiator in ensuring product success in a crowded global market. We can see that there are a lot of businesses online today. There are a lot of businesses on every platform today, and everybody is trying to gain attention. But how do you do that? You don't really want to do it like in an odd way. You don't want to do it in a very awful way. Because social media on its own is, let me say, is a 10 minutes, yeah, according to what the first guest said the other time, like how long does it take for someone to actually feel the impact of a brand? 10 seconds. Design will send its message in, let me say, 5 seconds. Because once you see it, you get attracted before you stop. So let's choose Instagram as an example. It is always a, let me say, a lined, or yeah, a lined format. Like the template of Instagram is like a lined one that you just have to scroll up and down. Now, while scrolling, if your design is not good enough, it will be scroll past. But if it's good enough, it's going to send this, let me say, this charge that you'll be like, wow, I saw something just now. And scrolling back, we made them to be like, okay, this information is good. Then I can now click and read more about the information. So even if you're having a bad design, and someone is actually scrolling, that means the information you're trying to send will not do its job. So, but good design will make products sell. It attracts the audience. It also make businesses user friendly. Through design, you can, your customers or your audience can actually understand who you are through what you give out. Maybe you are a fashion designer and you have a good design that actually speaks about fashion and fun, the audience will quickly understand that, okay, this is what this type of fashion designer is all about. This is what this type of fashion design is all about. It's going to make them understand you better and going to make them know your point. And it makes brand unforgettable. That means when your design system is consistent, people will always recognize you when they see you. I love using MTN for example. MTN and their yellow color is always there, irrespective of, let me say, the images they use, the banner or background, you always see the touch of yellow. And you can see that even if I am seeing MTN for the first time and I don't really know much about them, if I can see them, like maybe let me say like 2, 3 days consecutively, I will be forced to register it in my memory because I'll be like, oh, I saw that they are good with yellow today. Yeah, tomorrow they are still using that same yellow. I myself personally will register it like, okay, oh, when I send it in yellow, the first thing that actually comes to my mind too is MTN before I actually think about something else. So another impact of design on businesses is the impression it gives. It wins real results. As long as the design does its jobs, like attract the customer on its own, it's going to impress them to do what you want to ask them to do. Maybe you want to ask them to click a link, you want to ask them to download a product, you want to ask them to subscribe. Once you have a good design to express that or send that message, it's going to impress them to stick to what you have to say. So the impact of another impact of design on businesses on social media is easy means of communication. Um, Lots of people doesn't really like reading long texts. People like me, I don't really love them. Like unless maybe I'm working on a very huge project, I can be like, okay, let me just go for this for research purpose. But being on social media, I personally don't like reading long texts. But I don't know, maybe it's me personally, but I believe a lot of people wouldn't want to waste their time like reading, and at the end of the day, it's just talking about buying a product. So if this content, these texts are actually interpreted in a very short, with very short little elements on the design, it's going to attract and send the message it's meant to send without stress and in a matter of 5-10 seconds. So the sixth impact is the packaging of on its own, the way you present your product. Um, I have been working on the research for the past 3 months on about products in local areas. I discovered that all these about products are very, very effective. But most of us are actually scared of it. Maybe you are thinking the hygienic, maybe you are thinking of the place it's being produced, maybe it's not hygienic enough. You are thinking of the packaging, but I actually now ask the question that what if a doctor prescribed that as a solution to our sickness or something? Won't we go for it? And I discovered that it's because of the packaging. That was why people are actually rejecting that as an option. So I worked with some local herbal product producer, and we come up on some redesign and rebranding of their product. I'm so sorry, I would have actually showed you the images for what I'm talking about, but due to the fact that I have some contract to sign, the NDA contract, non-disclosure agreement, so I'm unable to do this. But at the end of the day, we discovered that people actually, based on the experiment, we sold some part of the previous one and we sold some part of the new rebranded products. Same name. People are actually now addressing the former one as a fake and they're addressing the new one as the original product. And the person we did the job together was like, wow, this is really true. So it makes your product be presented to the right audience, and whenever they see it, it will attract them to subscribe to maybe your product or services. It captures your target audience. If you have a good design, it's not going to pull them off. Design is just like a bridge, or let me say a link that connects you or your business to the right customer. So design also gives clarity. Great design can bring your message to the forefront and get your customer and convert new users into loyal clients. How? When you are writing the content, you have to be more friendly at the first paragraph. Then secondly, you have to introduce it. So all those stuffs are incorporated in presenting content on social media. But with design, with just short information, people will be able to get exactly what you are talking about. If you're talking about clothing, an imagery that has features of clothing will send the message to the audience that you are talking about clothing or fashion. And the type of imagery you use to send that message will determine the type of product you are talking about. Maybe you're a fashion designer, but you're a fashion designer and you're specialized in local or native dresses. With good graphic design, having the imagery of someone putting on a local dress or a traditional dress, you will understand that, okay, oh, you're a fashion designer that is based on traditional wears than more classical or modern wears. Design makes your Another point is design makes your business stand out. Yes, we have a lot of business today, and everybody's trying to be unique. And someone said something that due to the population of the businesses we have, it will be very, very hard for you to be unique. But there's always something that will be different about what you have to offer. So design can help you showcase your unique selling points, can help you stand out and be different from your competitors. So now, whenever they see you or your product or your design, they'll know that okay, this is this business, this is this product, and we trust this product. So, brand consistency design also aids brand consistency in the sense that it enables you to incorporate your brand color, your logo, your type of imagery, the way you talk to your people. Design will help you to consistently showcase that. If we were if we were basing our content, so let me say social media content on text alone, we might have some issues having a consistent arrangement of it, or let me say consistent sending of the consistency. We are going to have issue in sending the message consistently. But design, it helps us to put all the brand assets in mind. And whenever we really want to send it out, send that message out, is going to make people see us and see the business and make the business trustworthy. So another point is customers' perception. Having an attractive graphic design helps to strengthen your brand, build trust with the customer, and make your business seem larger than it is. The way you present your content online will determine the way people take you. A lot of people, like maybe on WhatsApp, selling products on WhatsApp, all what people know about them is they just sell. And what people will think about them is they are just all about the money. They don't really have class, stuff like that. But the way you present your design in a graphically appealing way, it's going to make people see you that, okay, you're a luxury brand or you are just a general brand. Apple, for example, there is always something unique about them. The simplicity in all their designs, starting from their gadgets, their products, even to their banner or ad videos, they always make it as simple as possible. And a lot of people like it being simple and still being functional. So graphic design can actually help customers see your brand the way you want it to be seen. So from there, I just want to make us to go through what good designs looks like and what bad design looks like. And I'm so sorry if anyone knows, maybe anybody that actually has this design on their slide. I'm just using this as an example. I have no bad intention. Are you hearing me, please?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Yeah. So I would say since the beginning of this year, I have been seeing designs like this, like a lot on Facebook, on Instagram, talking about their logo and posting this that they design logos or businesses, showing that this is their new logo. I'll be like, you call this a logo or you call this a banner. I don't really know. Maybe it's the fault of the client or the fault of the designers. I'm trying to sort that out. I'm working on that to see how I can actually dive in and see what I can do differently there. The trend of these things are very much like, especially in this country, Nigeria. Whenever you see a business that uses this, I personally will be like, I can't deal with this business. Why? Because as long as they can't even invest in good designs, what makes you so sure that I'm going to invest in coming up with a good product for me? Once again, these designs are not just to tarnish the image of any brand. I'm just using them as an example. So designs like this are not good. Like seriously, placing designs on mockup and I'm sending them like for customers. I always ask this question: can you print logos like this on your t-shirts, like this exact it? Can you print stuff like this maybe on your stationaries? No. You really have to keep your design simple and it needs to send a specific message. On the research on how Nike logo was designed, I read that the CEO of Nike didn't like the logo in the first place. But he stated that as long as the logo does its job, his job, he's going to go with it. But for his own, from his own perception, he didn't really like the logo. But as time goes on, we can see that the logo actually speaks what the brand speaks because it was a total representation of what the brand is all about. The Switch logo is just all about speed and movement. And Nike is a sport-based brand, if I'm right. You didn't actually show sportswear or shoe or anything. They just actually use something that is part of the brand vision, mission, or culture, any information that's relevant to the brand, and just use it to interpret what they have to say. And on flyers issue too, you can see the flyer as the down part of this slide. It is not necessary you put all what you are doing on a flyer. I don't think it's cool. Although I know clients can be really persistent. I want them to know all the things I'm doing. It doesn't really matter if you're not going to get them, you're not going to get clients. And if you're going to get clients, you're going to get them. So make as in design are supposed to be as simple as possible. And a very simple information, then have a landing page or maybe a WhatsApp link as your call to action will enable them to contact you through and still give you, you'll be able to give them all the full information they need. And the next slide there are just example of simple designs. I won't really call them very good design, but whenever I see this, I say they are good design. I'm not the best at all, but I'm trying my best to be. So designs like this can really say a lot. With less text and less information, you can actually send your message out there and it's going to attract good imagery, good fonts and typography, and a very nice logo, being a very nice flat logo. I skipped something in the previous slide. The logo like this, especially the ones on the wall, are called mock-ups. So maybe people are seeing them and they think it's as nice as possible, but for me, this is just mock-up, not a real logo. And I don't really think a logo should have social media handles too on them. So if I have to incorporate those logos on maybe something like this flyer, it's not going to work out well for me. It's not going to be presentable enough. And whoever sees this designs like this will be like, what's this? All what they will do is just to scroll past me and that's all. But designs like this can actually attract and give the audience and attract the audience to read or about what you want to tell them. So how do you now really need to get started with good graphics for your businesses? It's two options. I always say you hire a good graphic designer and going to do a very good job for you. When I say good graphic designer, you have actually done your research and know if you're going to work with the person or not. Or you can do it yourself. And thanks to the power of technology, we have platforms that are very light and can still help you come up with good designs. You can make designs through your web browsers and you can make designs, most especially on your smartphones. So all you just have to do is to do your research about the type of design you want to do. Then you can transfer that information to your whole style of design. So there are apps that can enable you to come up with nice design for your businesses. You have a lot of templates you can use, most especially Canva. Canva is one of the apps I love. Although I use all those apps, I use I use Pixel Lab. I'm so sorry. It's supposed to be Pixel Lab, not Pixel Lab. So Pixel Lab and Adobe Spark. All these platforms are available on smartphones, and they are available with templates which can help you to quickly come up with designs in a matter of seconds. This same app can still help you to start your design from scratch without using templates. If you can go to the previous slide, all the designs were made with Canva and with the smartphone. So it was intentional. I have seen a lot of people saying it's not going to be possible. How will we do that? But I took my time to experiment on it and I discovered all these designs are possible. And simple design doesn't really need much stress. All you just have to do is having your information, your focal point, and send it to the world to see. It's as simple as that, and it's going to do its job. So with Canva, Over, and Pixel Lab, Addospark, you don't really need to stress yourself on coming up with designs. If you can't come up with design from scratch, you can use the existing templates. So I will from there move to the social media platform design itself. We have a lot of social media platform, and this platform have a lot of set of audience. And there's something that's common between all the social media platforms. One, DP. Two, DP means digital picture. Two, cover photo. And three, the graphic content itself. If you go to Facebook and on your business page, you're going to need a DP, which is supposed to have your logo on it. And you're going to need a cover photo, which is going to be a very wide banner that still advertise or showcase whatever you have to say. And the graphic content itself, which people are going to see, even if they are not precisely on your profile page. Maybe they actually clicked on the link you sent, or from your personal page, you uploaded something. This graphic content will attract them, and they can land them to either your landing page or on your website or your business page on Facebook. So an example of this, example of how it's supposed to be is this. That's what I have on the slide now. Your logo is supposed to be on the DP area, and you're going to have your cover photo in the cover photo section, and the graphics content on its own itself is going to be on the post section. And if you can see this Facebook page, it was actually designed based on the real solution that the business itself needs. This is a fashion fashion Facebook page. This is a business page on Facebook, and it has its own shop. And this shop is just like a mini e-commerce platform where people can actually see the pricing of things and more information without even actually needing to message you privately and ask you questions. So with this layout, with your good design being presented right to you, you can quickly send that message, which means the only cost for them to notify your message is maybe whenever they want to make payments, or whenever they want to ask questions about information that is not on the page on its own. So graphic design can really save you from a lot of stress, and is going to make it's going to attract customers for you. And the conclusion for all I'm been saying since is it's your moment now. You can just start developing your brand so that you can market it, so you can own your market, shine up, so you can own your market, shine apart from competition, and win the lasting success for your design in the digital world. I want you to always see design as a link, as a link that connects your business to the right customer. That is the reason why I want you to invest more in it. Once you invest more in your design, because this will be the first touch point that your audience will see, even if you have a lot of things or a lot of more quality things to offer. If you have a very bad design and people seeing it for the first time, I will say that might be the last time they're going to set their eyes on the or maybe on your content or your product. So, but once you have a very good design and a very good product, trust me, it is going to pull the crowd. So, I believe you have learned one thing or the other today. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, can you understand?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
So, and if you need more information about how to get to Canva, I can put it through. For example, this slide was actually created with Canva as well. It's a very, very good platform that you can use to come up with good graphic content for your businesses. So if you have any questions, I would love to have them now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you so much, sir. Please, if you have questions for Mr. Victor, kindly put your question in the chat or unmute your mic to ask your questions. Mr. Victor, I know you talked about a whole lot of things that from the flyers to the logo, which all sums up to what the proper representation, the graphical representation of a business should look like online. Um, but I also know you are really much into designs, and you teach people how to do this as well, especially how to use Canva. So we're going to share this slide with people. However,
I have a question. Oh,
okay. All right. So please ask a question, then I'll come back to
sorry
you.
to interrupt you, please.
Okay.
I enjoyed the presentation, but I noticed something about social media these days, that a lot of people are doing more videos, and videos seem to be more engaging these days. So I've had this nudge, because I'm someone that usually, when I advertise on my Instagram page, I usually use Canva to design my posters. So, but these days I noticed that I see a lot of video ads. So I've been having this nudge, as though posting Canva, just Canva ads may not move as much as video. Do you feel it's compulsory to do video ads, or one can still stick to the Canva poster ads? Or I need to just completely switch to doing video ads, since that's what seems to be trending now?
Okay. Number one, I just want to make a correction. Because you're using Canva to design doesn't mean it's Canva. It's graphic design is graphic design, design is design, even if you do it on paper. That's number one thing.
Okay.
So please, design is design it on its own. So secondly, graphic content are graphic content as long as it's visual and be able to receive a message being sent. So it depends on maybe the type of content calendar, the digital, the social media manager comes up for you, the type of social media calendar that you are using on your own. I won't say you should ignore images and go for videos, and I won't say you should ignore images and go for. I won't say you should ignore videos and go for images. Both works hand in hand. But what you can actually learn from an image in 5 seconds, you can spend like 15 seconds learning from a video. That's number one. Number two, images are easily saved, like on phone. Okay, later I'm going to go back to this information. Let me screenshot it. You can't really do that for videos. I am not saying videos are not good, but if you can incorporate both in your content, maybe weekly, maybe 3 times in a week, you're going to be working on images, and 2 times a week, you're going to be working on video. That means maybe Monday will be images, and Tuesday will be video, Wednesday will be images, Thursday will be video, then Friday images. So both of them works hand in hand. So it doesn't really matter if videos work, but to me, I actually prefer images much. I use them a lot.
And what
The
about for
only
adverts, like adverts on
yes,
Instagram?
I'm not, okay. Yeah, you can use images, so it doesn't really matter. As long as your content is attractive enough, even if you have a very bad video, maybe the video is bad and you use it for an advert, it's not going to attract. Why someone that actually have a good graphics of a graphic image using for an advert is going to attract. So it depends on the type of content you have to put there. So there's no restriction, and you don't really have to totally switch from one section to a section. You can use both hand in hand. It's going to still do its job. The main purpose is communication and sending a message in a very short period of time. So that is why I always recommend images at least. So, and if maybe the information you want to pull out is much, you can quickly switch to videos. So with nice sound and slides, it's going to at least maybe less information is going to send the message to the person. So you can use both. That's what I can say about that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Did I answer your question very well, ma'am?
Yes, you did. You did.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. 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 Anybody else?
All right. Any more questions? Any more questions, please? Okay. So we still have more time to ask questions towards the end of the event. Um,
Okay.
so thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you so much. So I was saying the other time that for those that want to learn Canva, that want to learn more about graphics design and the rest, to reach out to Mr. Victor. I'm going to share his contact with everyone after this event. We're also going to share the slide. But you need him to help you out with your flyers, your brochures, and the rest, so you can also reach out to him. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. God bless you so
Okay.
much.
So,
Thank you so
so
much.
thank you for your time and thank you for having me here once again.
Yes, you're welcome. Alright, so as this junction, I would like to invite Mr. Bedeleke AOT to take us on social media marketing. Mr. Bedeleke, we are waiting for you. Please unmute your mic and take us into this section.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Thank you
morning.
so much for the opportunity, Miriam. Kudos to the first two speakers. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I've been on since 10 a.m. and I've I've also learned a lot. I've gained from the branding session, a lot from the branding session, and a lot from the design section. And I just hope that people were taking notes. I hope that people were not just listening and watching a video session. I hope people were actually taking notes on how to implement it for their own businesses. So I'm supposed to take, my name is Bemileke Adeoti. I'm taking us on social media marketing in this age. So um, I'm just going to have to share my screen now. Sorry, I can't share my screen yet.
Okay, Mr. Victor, um, I made you the host. Can you please make me the host again so I can allow Mr. Bimleke share screen? Mr. Victor, did you hear me? Hello, Mr. Victor.
Okay, while we wait for that, uh, I just want to ask and get a feel of the industries that people on this webinar are from. So, are you in fashion? Are you in real estate? What industries do you currently work? What industries do you have your business in? That would help me to know what kind of examples to give. So, if you can just drop the industry in the chat box so that I can pick my examples from there. Do you work in fashion? Is it real estate? Is it education? Um, okay, I can see maritime tech, finance, good. Okay, okay, so let's just go on so that I don't keep us waiting. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen now so that we can see um, it properly. So, okay, all right. I'm taking us through social media marketing in the age of social media. That's a very funny topic, actually, because um, I I do marketing for not just social media, but for all kinds of online marketing. And when I came across this topic, when I was told about this topic, my first question was, okay, um, how many people actually do know that social media marketing is quite different from the general digital marketing that is very much the talk of the town now. Social media marketing is a subset of digital marketing, and it's inappropriate for anyone to try to confuse the two, because one is a subset of the other. And you trying to say you see a lot of job ads for people who are searching for jobs, and then or for companies who are trying to hire people in social media space, and then you see social media manager, and then you start seeing things that are out of scope of social media. So I'll try to clarify that today as to what social media marketing is, independent of the other aspects of digital marketing, like search engine optimization, like website design, like Google Ads, and all of that. So I will try to clarify that in this session by being very straight to the point and focus on social media alone. So what should we expect from the next few minutes of being together? One, we'll try to define social media, like I just said. We'll try to understand what the marketing mix is and how it relates to social media. That's the 5 P's of marketing. There are actually 7 P's, but we're going to focus on 5 in this session, and we'll try to do that with social media. And then social media strategy, we'll try to look at the basic elements of a social media strategy and how it relates to doing business online. Then we'll take some platform specific tactics, like how to sell on Instagram without posting every day, and then how to install, we'll do a little on messenger chatbots, which I call Facebook secret sales machine for businesses. So let's get right into it. Okay, so social media is a collection of online communication channels dedicated to community-based inputs, interaction, content sharing, and collaboration. Now, I've put some words in blue because that is going to form the basis of most of the things that we'll be discussing today. I've put community-based interaction, content sharing, and collaboration in blue. And the reason is these are 4 key pillars of success on social media. You have to be community-based. You have to have a community. You have to strive to belong and to build a community. You cannot just stay on your own and say that you are not trying to build a definite audience. In trying to execute your social media strategy, you must be community based. You have to have a group of people that you are trying to reach out to, a definite group of people. You cannot say you are trying to reach out to everybody. What you are trying to do is you are trying to reach out to everybody that can buy, not just everybody online. So that's a very important thing, and you must be deliberate about building that community of people who are interested in your product and services and would eventually buy or recommend someone to buy. Then another thing is interaction. Like I pointed out just now, no man is an island. It's not just in the non-virtual world that adage applies. It also applies online. You cannot do things on your own. You cannot stay on your own on social media and say that you just expect people to interact with you. A lot of businesses do this online. I'm like, this is wrong. You cannot just be on your own and expect that everybody else will interact with you and you don't reach out to interact with others. When we come to selling us on Instagram, I will deal a little bit more on this part of interaction. Then, of course, the big thing, which is content sharing, which a lot of people talk about. Of course, you have to share content, but how do we share content? We'll deal with that in a bit. Collaboration is a very important part of social media. You cannot run on your own. You cannot run the race online on your own. Imagine we have 7 billion social media. We have 7 billion devices. Over 7 billion devices are connected to the internet and all over the world. And you, as a marketer or a business owner in Lagos, Nigeria, or in Akure, or in Ife, or in Abuja, or Port Harcourt, wherever you are in Nigeria or anywhere across the world, you're just in your corner and you're trying to get the attention of 7 billion connected devices. You trying to run that race on your own would just be you overestimating yourself. It's not like it's not possible, but there are, of course, there are different businesses and content online that trends from time to time worldwide. But for you to pull that amount of weight, you must have built some level of brand presence, some level of leadership online without that that puts you in that place of being able to pull such weight. So you need to collaborate, you need to work with other people in your industry, other businesses like you across different industries. You need to work out a good show on social media. So, what is the marketing mix? The marketing mix basically talks about five different P's, um, five different aspects of marketing. One is products. When you are trying to market your products, when you talk about marketing or marketing anything, there are five basic things that you must consider. There are a total of seven, but for the sake of this presentation, we'll deal with just five. And the first thing is your product. What exactly are you trying to sell? Are you trying to sell a product or a service? Is it a physical product or a digital product? Is it a product that you can ship to your customer, or something that your customer has to come to your office or an experience center to enjoy? For instance, restaurants. Okay, restaurants also now do deliveries, but hotels and hotel services are things that are products that you cannot ship. You cannot possibly take hotel service to a person's house. So you must understand properly. You must have it defined. What exactly are you selling? The next thing is your price. How much does it cost to enjoy this product or service? How much does your product or service cost? In marketing anything, these two things have to be in your overall plan. You have to include it in the entire mix. It's like you're making smoothie, for instance. These are some of the foods that you need to combine together to make a healthy smoothie. So the third thing is place. Where can your customer find your product or service? That's another key thing that you need to put in the entire mix. Where can your customer find it? And then the fourth thing is promotion. How does the customer learn about it, and or how will you tell the customer about it? What's your plan for selling? What's your plan for ensuring that this product does not stay in your small shop in Alaba market, or in just in your mind, and just in your mind as a service provider? For instance, someone who offers tailor-made or bespoke service, bespoke fashion services. What what does it do? What's your plan to ensure that you don't just sit down in Surulere and expect people to come, but people in Aja, people in Lekki, people beyond Lagos are seeing your product or services? What's your plan to ensure that your ideal customer learns about it? As someone who is in maritime, I really wish I knew what aspect of maritime. What if, for instance, you're into ensuring that into shipping and haulage? How do you ensure that companies who, or both small, medium, and large scale companies who bring in products from time to time, or who ship out products out of the country, learn about your products? What's your strategy? What do you want to? How do you intend to promote that? That's something else that you must factor in when you are trying to put up an entire marketing mix. And then the last thing is packaging or presentation. How does the customer encounter or experience your products? This is a very important thing, and I'm glad that the first two speakers have dealt a little bit on packaging and presentation of services, because there is no way you would have signed up for this webinar, for instance, if you just saw maybe a poorly finished flyer, or a flyer that does not appeal to you. If this webinar did not appeal to you, there is nothing that would have brought you to this place, or brought you in. We've been speaking now for almost 2 hours, and there is nothing that would have kept you in if this webinar was not properly packaged. So the way your customer encounters your product or service is very, very important for you as a business person. So what is social media marketing strategy? That's the next thing. A social media marketing strategy is a summary of everything you plan to do and hope to achieve on social media. Now, I've tried to put up this very simple definition because I don't want to bore us with too much of time. This is as simple as it gets. A summary of everything you plan to do and hope to achieve on social media. So why do you need a summary? Because it guides your actions and lets you know whether you are succeeding or failing. A lot of people go online, go have social media handles for their businesses, and they really do not have a plan. They really do not have a strategy. They just go about and say, okay, today I've posted this, or we are launching a collection. I work with fashion businesses a lot. That's why I seem to mentioning a lot of things when it comes to fashion, a lot of times along fashion. And I see a lot of people who are trying to start out online say, well, I just want to post, I just want to post this. I don't have a clear plan. And it baffles me because who goes to a battle without first preparing or without a game plan? Nobody does that. If you do not know, or if you are second guessing, the social media space is a battleground. It's a battlefield. You are not. People don't go there to play. Fine, you go there to watch, probably watch some skits, have some fun. But brands are not playing online. No serious brand is just there to joke. And so, you as a business owner have to have this mindset when you are pushing out your product or service. Then I should also state that the more specific your strategy is, the more effective the execution will be. You have to be strategic. You have to be very specific and know exactly what to do. For instance, let me give an example. While preparing for this webinar, for practically every single slide, I already rehearsed what I wanted to say. Not because I feel that I would forget or something, but because planning and strategy is part of the entire mix of making a presentation. And so if as a business owner online you are trying to just do things without being specific, this exactly is what I would post on social day when this particular news comes out. This is exactly how I want to approach it. This is exactly what I want to do. You would end up messing up things. So what are the elements of a social media marketing strategy? I call them the 5 Ws. One is people, that which deals with who is the audience, who exactly are you trying to reach online, who exactly do you want to reach, um, why have you cannot have a business online. You cannot just have a business that is trying to serve everybody. I need to stress this fact that there is someone who will buy from you, who will refer people to you, and will continue to buy. There is someone in your mind as a business owner who you feel that, if I could just have a customer who will do this and this and that, that is your ideal audience. And you as a customer needs to pen that down. You need to write that down and state it out clearly in your notepad or in your social media strategy plan. The reason why you need that is so that you can properly qualify whoever comes into your DMs or whoever comes and shows interest in your products. A lot of people fail in this area. They want to try to please everybody, especially when you are starting out on social media. They are trying to please everybody who comes and asks for your price, or who comes to patronize you as a business owner. Please, I want to appeal that you need to think you need to rethink that strategy, because you really cannot serve everybody. You really, as a business owner, cannot say that you are trying to just get customers. No, you are trying to get the right customers, not just any kind of customer. And so you need to define that properly. What are their interests? What do they like doing? Where do they hang out? What social media accounts do they follow? Because all of these are the things that you use. The information that you get from all of this is what you use to build your entire plan and your entire customer profile. And then where can you find them? What platforms can you best reach lawyers? What platform can you best reach? Um, uh, Let me see. What platform can you best reach homeschool owners or homeschooling mothers? What platform can you best reach? Several other things that you need to consider. So, what platform do you want to reach your ideal customer through? then what do you want to tell them? And then do you just want to, like earlier on we talked about, we're trying to distinguish between video and just still content. And there was a question that was asked, and it's one of the things that you need to consider as a business owner. Are you trying to just do videos, or just trying to do still? What kind of content do you want to put out there? Then what are you trying to tell them? Are you just trying to say come and buy, or you're trying to tell them how your story evolves? On content, I would like to just share a few tips. One of the things that you need to do with regard to content is storytelling. If you're a business owner and you have not begun to use storytelling in your social media content, you are way behind. You're like 2 years behind. That's the truth. In fact, 2 years is more. You're probably 3-4 years behind, because people come online to read stories. Stories are the reason why you engage online. It's the reason why threads and threads do well on Twitter. It's the reason why video does well on some platforms. It's the reason why some people follow people and they don't really follow organizations. It's the reason why Instablog is Instablog. It's the reason why all of those blogging platforms are blogging platforms. It's the reason why Tunde Not is Tunde Not, because of storytelling. It's the reason why, what's this guy's name that talks about relationships? Joro is Joro today. The reason why those guys are those guys is because of storytelling. That's what you narrow it down to, because of the stories that they tell. It's not because they are doing anything particularly different. They are just telling stories. They're just putting out people's stories. And so you must understand that storytelling is very important. And that thing that you need to understand when it comes to content online is videos. Videos are very, very important. The truth is that we live in a visual world. We live in a world where people are more visually stimulated than they are text stimulated. I would rather watch a video than read a long text. And just like Victor said earlier, you understand that people, if you have so much of content and you really want to get people engaged with what you do, you need to actually create a video for it. But if you have short text, you can decide to just do a short graphic, or you can even use carousels on platforms like Instagram. So why do you need to tell them? What's the purpose of your content? Why are you trying to market? What's your strategy about? What are you just trying to? Are you there are different objectives in marketing. One objective is awareness. We have consideration, and then we have sales. So which of these three levels of objective? Which of these three purposes are you trying to achieve with your content online? And then when and how often do you want to reach out to them? What's your plan? What's your content calendar like? What are you trying? What are you posting when? How are you posting it? Because it helps you to plan, and it relieves you of so much of stress that you would have gone through. So I have a free book on social media marketing that I like to share with people. You can download it with this. You can download it online with this link, bit.ly/SM strategy PDF. I will drop the link on the chat shortly. You can also just get the slides at the end of the presentation, copy it and download. But it properly details all of this. It tells you why. It gives you in-depth understanding and explanation of some of these elements that I have discussed. Moving on now to platform-specific strategies, which is one of the key things that I really want to discuss in today's presentation, today's webinar. How do you sell on Instagram without posting daily? I would like to get a feel of what we think about this topic. Hello, can we hear me? If you can hear me, please give a high five in the chat box, or raise your hand, or say yes. Okay. Wow, praying in tongues.
Yes, we can hear
Considering,
you.
okay. There's someone on the chat praying in tongues. I like that name actually, but considering branding, are you a pastor? Considering what we learned earlier on branding, are you a pastor? Does it belong to the church? Don't worry, I'm just joking. I'm just playing around. Well, when I saw praying in tongues, I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably someone who is a Christian and trying to pitch himself along that line. So, how do you sell on Instagram without posting daily? I'd like to get a feel of what you think about this particular part. Is it possible to sell on Instagram without posting daily? Is this something that you think is possible? Do you really think, or you think that I'm just here to bluff around, or to just give things that will not work? Give it tips that will not work. I really want to know, because it's important that I get a feel of what you think about it. You must have heard several people tell you that you must post every day, you must really post. If these people that are doing very well on Instagram have plenty of followers and they are probably making food, you need them to that they post a lot. The Tricia Bees, the Niger Band Chicks, the Robert Yakubu, all of those guys on Instagram. You'll find out that they actually post a lot, and it's easy for you to, as a business owner who is not trying to sell social media services online, or who is not in their niche, because all of those guys I mentioned are in this niche of brand strategy, selling online sales and all. And it's very easy for you as a business owner who has various other things that you are doing in your business to think that is how to make sales, or that is the best way to go about it, or that is the only way to go about it. That because these guys are doing it, then I should also do it too. I'm here to announce us that that's not true. There are other ways by which you can make sales without posting daily. Those guys are doing it because kudos to them. They teach you a lot of excellent stuff that I also gained from. And a lot of people here are probably gaining from as well. But you must understand that is their own plan. That is their own strategy. Your own strategy as a business owner may not be posting every day if it's not all the time. I don't think one net server, for instance, if not for this webinar, would say they want to be posting today, for instance. Imagine if you have other things that maybe you have customers to answer, you have several other mails to attend to, and then he's posting every day. That's not the next thing. But as a business owner, there are ways by which you can beat the algorithm without posting every day. And one of such things, and before I do that, I will just before I move into those things, I'd like to make a few bold statements. Sales is the end result of consistent visibility, engagement, and presence. Now, sales is a end result of consistent visibility. Remember, I did not say consistent content, consistent posting, consistent visibility, consistent engagement, and consistent presence. If you are in a party, for instance, it is very possible for you to draw all of the energy in the room and be the life of the party without being the loudest in the party. If you attend parties regularly, you understand what this means. It's possible to be in a crowd, draw up all of the energy, be the center point of the energy in the room, and still not be the loudest in the room. Also, it's possible to come in quietly into a group of people, get what you need to get done, minimal activity, you're not loud, and you probably even signed a business deal. So that's the strategy, that's the thinking that I need us to put in when we are thinking about selling online or selling on Instagram. The end goal of marketing is sales, yeah, and sales is not a one-day journey. And so there are several other ways by which you can stay consistently visible, consistently engaged, and present online without necessarily sending content to designing yourself, then posting, thinking about caption. The 2-3 hours that you have that you dedicate to all of that, you can use it to do some other vital things in your business. What are those things that you need to that you need to that you can do without selling daily? I'll come back to the audience of one. Now, I said earlier that sales is a result of visibility, and that's the actual truth. Visibility is what makes you recognize someone outside of and different from another person. And in trying to make sales online, you must understand what this journey is about, this sales visibility journey. The first thing that you need to do online to make sales is that, of course, you have to be visible, yes. And then people have to see you before they even know what you are doing. And then so visibility is perhaps the most important thing online, aside just making money. You need to be visible to the people who are very much interested in you enough to buy from you. And then visibility now leads you to getting engagement from your niche audience. And as you continually engage with them, you build a top of mind awareness, which keeps you at the top of their mind whenever they think about a product or services that is related to your business. And at the point when they are now interested or they have a buyer's intent, they remember you because you have done a lot of visibility and engagement, and then a sale happens, you eventually sell to them. So I thought to show us this so that we understand how important visibility is. All of these engagement, buyer's intent wouldn't have been possible if you are not visible in the first place. So how do you get more visible on Instagram? How to stay visible on Instagram? One of the best ways to stay visible on Instagram right now is to use Instagram stories, live videos, and reels. Now, these things do not cost you anything to do, trust me. It could be as simple as you're working on your laptop, you take a picture and then you put it on your Insta story. Just say one or two words about it, about the project you're working on at that point in time. That's visibility. That's selling. You don't have to start writing long content, except if we are trying to deceive ourselves here. Doing business is time consuming enough. So social media marketing should not take all of your time or try to steal away your time. Sorry, someone is saying they can't hear me. Kelly King. Can we all hear me now? Hello, can we all hear me? I need to be sure.
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay, someone is saying he can't hear me in the chat, so I was a bit concerned about that. So doing business is stressful enough. It's time consuming. It's enough work. So you don't want social media marketing to now take up all of your time as a business owner, especially if you do not have the resources to divert into it or to invest in it. So you don't have to do the big things that everybody is doing. Use stories, use reels. Something small. If you own a small shop, for instance, or maybe you make eggs, for instance, make a short video about it and then post it. That's visibility. You just have to stay in front of your customer so that when it's time for them to, when they want to buy, because the goal of marketing is not to get people to buy instantly. It's not always to get people to buy instantly. It is always to build visibility and an awareness to a level that people eventually remind you when they want to buy. It is not every time that you see a product service that you want to buy at that point in time. Sometimes you just like the post and then you move on. And so, but if you're not visible, you won't even get the like, you won't even get that. The reason why top brands do a lot of brand awareness campaigns, like putting their stickers on trucks, putting it on buses, painting bus stops, putting up billboards, both digital and non-digital billboards, putting up big banners, doing activation campaigns. It's not because they want you to buy immediately. They are just trying to stay visible. They're just trying to ensure that when the time comes that you remember soft drink, you are thinking Pepsi or Coke. when the time comes that you remember that you remember, oh, I need to get toothpaste. Do you have close up? Do you have a B? It is because of those moments, but they don't get those moments. They don't strive to get those moments immediately. They are just trying to stay visible, trying to ensure that people are aware that this particular brand exists for to meet this particular niche need of yours. And that's exactly what marketing is. Then another way to stay visible online is cross commenting and cross engagement. I said it earlier that nobody's an island. The reason why some I'm going to give an example of entertainment brands online. For instance, Taoma. There's Taoma, there is MC Lively. Now, as I mentioned some of these brands, there is Maraji, there is Sydney Talker, there are a lot of them. Now, as I mentioned some of these brands, something is probably happening in your minds now. You are probably remembering brands that or people that are associated with them. For instance, if I say Just Too Funny, one of the first things that you remember is that his friend, Bello Crib. Why do you remember Bello Crib? Because Bello Crib probably comments on every single thing that Just Too Funny puts up, and then they even work together. We'll come to collaboration now. And so Bello Crib's fans, 20 to 30% of them are probably the same fans that Just Too Funny already has. And that tells you that cross engagement, pitch your tent where your audience is, or close to your competitor, or close to your or someone along who does the same thing that you do. Is very, very important online. There's something in economics, from my background in economics, there's something we call external economies of scale. External economies of scale is very, very important online. The fact that you pitch your tent just by someone that some people respect or people like is very, very important. And that brings us to the next point: leverage, people and platforms, building social capital. You cannot just sit down and say, I'm on my own and I'm not trying to reach out to the audience person. You'll be 10 times slower, you'll be 10 times faster if you pitch your tent with someone who is already doing what you are doing. And you're not trying to pitch it competitively. How do you comment on, how do you pitch your tent? If you sell the same thing, for instance, how do you put up a comment that does not look like you're trying to steal the person's audience? Very simple. You give a different angle to what the person is saying, not an opposing angle, but a different angle. The truth is that nobody tells you everything about something or about a particular product or service or a particular piece of content. I cannot know everything, and so there will be an extra angle, there will be an extra thing that you can add to the discussion that will make the discussion more robust and would send a message to people who view that person's post, that you know what you are doing in your own niche. Most of the people that I have found, most of the people that I follow online, I have followed them because they commented on someone's post, not necessarily because I was interested in them, as it were. Excuse me. Not necessarily because I was interested in what they were selling, but because they put up something fantastic, they engage with someone else, something, and I'm like, oh, this guy makes sense. Let me check him out. And I see his content. I'm like, oh, this is good content. Let me follow. So people and platforms is very, very important. Also, as a newbie or someone who is just starting out online, or someone who is also building, everybody is building anyway. You need to be able to get yourself featured on other people's platforms, or get people to come to your own platform. That's one thing that One Net Servers is doing very, very well. Bringing people to their own platform every single month. A speaker, at least one speaker every month. That's building social capital, because each speaker will bring his own audience into the flow of things, and then One Net Servers gets more brand awareness in the niche, among the audience of that particular speaker. So it's just sense. It's just it's just look using these things online practically. Now the fourth and final thing, that I would like to discuss when it comes to staying visible on Instagram is direct messaging. You must have heard a lot of people say it all goes down the DM. It's not just, they're not just saying it though. It's because some of these people have tried it and it works. See, your customer does not come online to buy from you. True or false? Do you go online and say, I want to go and buy from this particular brand? No, you're just going online to just check out. Maybe you saw a notification, or you even want to just see how the engagement has been with your own brand as a business or a personal brand. And so you're just online to enjoy yourself, really. You're online for several other things that has nothing to do with buying. And so if you, as a business owner, expect that people will come into your DMs, then you'd be wrong. Because you cannot just expect. I'm not saying that those who say send us a DM, I'm not saying that send us a DM for purchase. I'm not saying that it is wrong. I'm saying that you need to be more proactive than that as a business owner. You have already profiled, like I said earlier, please get that ebook. You have already profiled your audience. I talked a lot about how to profile your audience in that ebook, so you should probably get it. I'll post the link again later. Now, you have probably profiled the audience to some extent, and you probably know where they hang out, you know who they are, and then you are trying to you have probably done that research. So what you need to do is to look at it on Instagram or other platform and try to reach out to these people directly. For instance, you are a wedding photographer now, and you have seen you what you need to do is to reach out to young adults, particularly the females or the women who are not married. Trust me, this thing is not it's not that difficult to spot online. Whether or not someone is your customer or not, it's not so difficult. And then you reach out to your customers directly, because if you wait for them, someone else must have reached out to them. If I, for instance, as a social media person, has to wait for someone to always reach out to me, I will not make any sales. And so it's very important that you take direct messaging seriously as a business owner. Now, last thing I need to state here is Instagram gives preferences to brands that engage their audiences using this method. Let me use the example of direct messaging. It's because it seems I didn't really do justice to that point. Now, if you engage with someone regularly, we all have personal Instagram accounts. Some of those accounts double as our business accounts, yes. But if as a brand, you or as a person, you engage with someone properly, regularly on Instagram DM, there is something that you tend to see regularly. You tend to see their content more on your feed. You tend to see their stories more. You tend to see their Instagram reels more. You basically see them everywhere, even on other Facebook-owned platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp. Why do you think that happens all the time? Why do you think that happens regularly? It's because that's how the algorithm works. And so as a brand, if you engage regularly with people in your DMs, they are more likely to see your content online, and they are more likely to now engage and then see when you have good offers for them. And so your direct messaging is not something that you joke with as a brand. You take it seriously and you are very strategic about it. Before we move on to Messenger bots, I'd just like to know if anyone has any questions, so I will take it, or do we take it afterwards? Okay.
I think we can take the questions after your presentation.
All right. All right.
Thank you so much.
This is all right. This is the last part of the presentation. Messenger bots, Facebook secret sales machine. What is a messenger bot? A messenger bot is basically a computer program designed to simulate conversation with human users, especially over the internet, in this case, Facebook. Why is it a secret sales machine on Facebook? because it is not widely utilized by Nigerian businesses. This thing gives me a headache every time I look at it, and I'm like, what's happening? Why are Nigerian businesses not using messenger bots? And I've just come to the conclusion that people do not know about it, or people do not know how easy it is to set it up. But I would first of all uh, show show us some reasons why we need to use it. Maybe that would convince those of us that already know about it. One, messenger bots are known. This is a research done by Search Engine Journal and social media marketer. They did a research recently and they found out that messenger bots get 10 to 80 times more engagements than an email or a regular social media post. So you must have seen some. There's someone in finance here, so I should use this example. You must have seen brands in finance like banks talk about uh, talk about launching their Facebook Messenger bots. Leo for UBA. There's one for Access Bank. I can't really remember now. But Leo for UBA is one that really was in the face, was all over our face when they launched about 2 years ago. Now, why do you think they are using this particular medium of conversation with their customers? Why would a big brand like UBA have a robot attend to people on Facebook through Facebook Messenger? Because they know that it brings engagement, because you can get real-time engagement, you can get real-time response, because it's very important to your brand, your social media strategy that you do so. Now, a second reason is because live chats on websites and other platforms are slow and need to be staffed 24/7. Like I said earlier, you don't have time as a business owner. You need some things that will give you results fast and with minimal effort, because you do not have all of that time to devote into it. And chatbots are ways by which you can get maximum results with little effort. You don't have to be there all of the time. You just program a few messages that help you, a few messages that people can click that would help you to attend to these customers directly. And then you get real-time response, LOI. Your customer is engaged immediately. The customer types hello and then he sees it and then he gets an instant response. I'm going to show us an example now. And then they're also mobile friendly. That's another reason why you should use messenger bots. They are very mobile friendly. You can get feedback. Your customer can get feedback on the go. Your customer can make an inquiry on the go. Your customer can purchase on the go. You can make an order on the go. You don't have to be there. All you just see on your own dashboard is one order has been placed and all. And this is an example. So this is Domino's Pizza. I'm not sure if we can see it clearly, but I try to make it as big as possible. This is Domino's Pizza. And if you look at this clearly, you can see that this particular person this particular user has sent get started to Domino's, and he has clicked on the get started button on their chatbot, and then you can see get started, and then they have three options: order, track order, or customer support. And then the person has clicked on order, and then you see awesome. Do you want to place your easy order, your most recent order, or your new order? So people can actually order Domino's using their chatbot online. So you don't have to stress yourself and be making any phone calls. Your customer, and neither do you as a business owner have to stress yourself receiving phone calls. Your chatbot is there to do justice to all of that for you. And so we can take questions now. That will be all for my own end. I should mention that there is okay. Let's take questions first. Then I'll talk about the class I have on messenger chatbots. Any questions, please? Does anybody have any questions, any feedback for me? Okay. Yes, someone said Sarah for Wema. Oh, thank you so much for that. Any questions? Anything that I said that is not quite clear? You can unmute your mic. You can, so that we just take the questions straight up. Thank you, Crispin. Lovely presentation. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. Sorry, I've seen a question. Is Messenger bot available on Instagram like it is on Facebook? No, it is not available like it is, but you can actually still program your Instagram handle to ensure that it has some kind of direct automated replies. And then there are also platforms like InstaZoom that you can use to respond to customers directly. Indirectly, I mean, without being there. So why is it more on Facebook than it is on Instagram? Basically, because research has shown that people actually buy from Facebook than on Instagram, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to actually talk about Messenger bots, because Messenger bots is a good way by which you can actually reach out to people online. When someone subscribes to your bot, because you get subscribers and all, I have a webinar coming up this week next week that would talk about it in detail. So you can reach out to me and sign up. I'll drop my contact details now. So if you need to attend the webinar or the class, you can contact me through all of this, through email, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So basically, what you do on Messenger chatbots is just program responses. Yeah, Crispin says he's going to be commenting on people's social media. Yes, it's very important for you. It's very, very important. You cannot do things on your own online. Engagement is an engagement that leads to engagement. And you would even see it on platforms like Twitter. We couldn't deal with Twitter. We'll probably deal with it some other time if there would be. But you see platforms like Twitter where you see people, and Twitter and LinkedIn, someone says, someone replies to a message, for instance, or a tweet, and then someone that you follow, and then you now see that tweet coming up on your feed, on your timeline. So person replied to this particular tweet. So engagement is what brings engagement, basically. Okay, if there's any other question, if there's no other question, we can probably think I'll be done here. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Crispin also says, I've had people follow me because I added someone else. Yeah, that's very true.
Hello, Mr. Gbemleke, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, good afternoon. Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
this is Afiz. My own question is related to the chatbot, which seemed to be the one of the most interesting regarding people that are running complex business. If
Yeah.
you look at the chatbot, it's very new, and that is why probably maybe because it was the last part you presented, so a lot of people got mute and stopped, and they couldn't ask major questions regarding their challenges with other ones like the direct messaging, the leveraging, and so. Now, the
Well,
chat bot, the messenger bot, the basic and the most challenging part is most of us here are into retail business. We are not
okay.
into the multinational or global business. If you look at it,
Yeah.
people that can really, really afford chatbots, you understand, have where a cadre of business where they fall into. Like when you were going to use an example, you used Domino Pizza. Did you get?
Okay. I
So
get you.
how is it possible? I don't know how vast or how much you use it, because if some of us have used chatbots, we would have been bombarding you with questions now. How is it
Yeah.
possible for us to get a chatbot that will fit into the budget of anyone in a retail business? That would be my question. And anyone that can support with a lot of information here, it will be useful. Chatbots, with what I can see, will do a lot of justice to people's business, especially on the social media space.
Okay.
But
Okay.
how
Go ahead.
does it cut the retail budget? The retail.
Okay. So chatbots are not expensive. Uh, chatbots are not expensive at all. In fact, there are free plans that you can use as a small business owner. I'm trying to. I think I should just stop my screen share. Okay, I'll stop this. I'm trying to bring out another screen that can show us, that will prove to us that it's free. There are free plans for virtually every chatbot example or chatbot platform. Let me just take us to ManyChat, which is one of the most used. So there are free plans. You don't have to pay for it. The multinational companies, they pay and all of that, but you don't have to pay. They are free plans actually. So all you need to just do is to ensure that you program it properly. Like I said, I have a webinar on that coming up very soon, and we'll do justice to programming your chatbot on Facebook. So I'm just going to show us something. So I'm trying to set it up on my browser. Okay, good. So about last week, I had a digital marketing training that I took people, and I showed them this particular chatbot feature, and they were a little bit amazed because they were wondering, so what have we now been doing trying to sell to people directly? So this is ManyChat, and if you see, this is the dashboard, and if you see here, you will find out that this is free. I don't know if everybody can see my screen. You can see free here, clearly stated. So it's a free plan, and then you have upgrade to pro. You have other plans, but you don't necessarily have to pay, and you have different. You can manage a live chat. You have other growth tools. You can run Facebook ads to the chatbot. You can send broadcasts. This is where the juice is. You can send broadcasts. You can do paid messages. You can do a lot of automation. This is another very great tool. You can do so. All of these are automated messages on this particular Facebook page. All you need to do is just link your Facebook page to the platform, and you're good to go. And then you set up all of these things. You put up your settings. You can see Facebook ads, so you can do all of that. So it's not expensive, please. It's free. In fact, it's free. But like I said, a lot of people are ignorant. A lot of people do not know that chatbots can actually be free. And so it's not a Domino's Pizza or UBA or Wema Bank thing. It's an everybody thing. Everybody can use chatbots. There are paid plans that actually give you more value, yeah. But for starters, come on, you don't have to be. For instance, I run ads for people, and I've run ads to some companies' pages, and then the first question we are getting is, "What is this thing about? What is this brand about? What do you do?" All of those questions can be answered by your chatbot. You don't have to be answering all of those questions all of the time. So that's one of some of the stress that it can take off you as a business owner. So yeah, chatbots are free
Thank you very
actually. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gumileke. You have really done justice to that question that I was asking. But I would like you to also shed more light on the paid message. The time you were doing you were presenting the chatbot interface you are using. You said something about paid message. I saw it there. What does that one do?
Okay. Let's just go.
Yes,
With
the
paid
paid message.
messages, yes, you'll be able to send any promotional messages to your clients, whether you want, whenever you want, now stay compliant with Facebook broadcasting rules.
Okay,
Now,
can
with sending broadcasts, you cannot just send broadcasts to anybody or send broadcasts all of the time. There,
okay.
you, so there's a limited number of broadcasts that can send within a month and or within a week, within a day. And then there are particular audiences that you can send to. That's why you have audiences here. So what you should do, what this paid messages does is that it allows you to send messages to everybody without being without infringing on Facebook's rules.
Is it
Facebook does
everyone?
not allow you to just
Is it everyone in your audience or everyone on that Facebook?
everybody in your audience.
So you have to build that audience first.
Yes, they have to subscribe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think so. Have I answered all questions? Someone said if you can't afford an automated chat, but then integrate WhatsApp into your chat.
Okay, do we have more questions? Any more questions from Mr. Bimeleke or Ms. Olamide and Mr. Victor? Okay, Christine, you have your hands up.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Crispin.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So I guess my question will be for the first two presenters. I was just thinking about it. I was wondering how often should you look into rejigging your brand or reassessing your brand. That's one of the questions I have. And then in terms of colors, right? How many colors would be too much, to incorporate into a brand identity or whatever? Or should we stick with one color, or can we combine colors? Even sometimes with Instagram posts and stuff, right? So those are my two questions. If it's not too clear, let me know so I can further explain.
Okay. Hello. For the
Hi.
first, how are you? So for the first question, how often should you reassess your brand? There is no one size fits all for that question, but I guess I'll put it back to you. How often do you do your team review sessions? How often do you do your planning sessions in house? I think a good a good number could be, you could do like a monthly reassessment, but not necessarily to change anything. I mean, at the end of every month, I believe that you probably have a team meeting or something. Once that is being done, you can bring, okay, you know what, this month, this is what we learned. Maybe moving forward, this is what we want to do better, and this is what. So, like I mentioned earlier, your brand is a combination of so many things. So, if it's something that is wrong with your design, you want to make sure that you probably change that moving forward. If it's something, if it's how you communicate on social media, if it's so your social media strategy, that is a part of your branding, right?
Yeah.
Your designs, all of those are incorporated into your brand. And if it's something that is very critical, maybe something happened and it wasn't managed well online, you don't have to wait till a review session. You can just call an emergency meeting and then take care of it immediately. So when I said like re-strategize and monitor, it's just that what I meant is don't just do it and then just keep it and never revisit it. So I think the answer to that is as often as you should. You should definitely go back to your brand guide.
Okay, so so I'm wondering, would you be proactive or reactive? I guess that's one other thing.
Also,
So
okay, so very proactive, and proactive in terms of the way you have normal performance review sessions, or the way you have normal planning sessions. I believe that you do that in your business. So maybe every month you want to be able to do this. These are learnings you got, and this is how you want to improve maybe your customer service or something. Branding should also be part of this. And you might not even, when it come up in a meeting, it might not even come up as, oh, how do we want to maybe improve our brand, for example. It could be, how do we want to do better on like our designs, for example. That is a subset of branding. How do we want to, you can just tackle one element of your whole brand, and then you find out that you are constantly improving. So definitely proactive. We hope that it never gets to a point where you are reactive, because reactive means that something has happened that you want to, like, fix loose ends and stuff like that. So it's definitely better to be proactive about things like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. That's clear.
All right. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Olamide. Do we have more questions? You have more questions for, I guess, speaker?
Yeah, I had the one about colors and branding, or color combinations and your brand. Like, how many colors should you maintain over time, or should you stick to just one color, or should you have a mosaic of colors or
let me
whatever?
give. Okay, sorry to cut you. Let me give a personal example from our own business experience. So when we started One It Servers, we were using red and yellow as our color, and our logo was just one figure one, and then servers, right? And then after about a year, we redesigned our logo into figure one with a circle and some electric effects like that. And I think after another year or so, when we got a bigger scope of what the business is all about, we rebranded the entire company and redesigned our logo into what we have right now, staying with one color. Then, if you observe carefully if you look closely at our logo, you realize that the logo we were using last year is the same logo we are using right now, but with different color. The color we're using right now, it's all about trust right now, trust and reliability, which is one of the core values that we have at One Server, is to offer a reliable and trusted, to be a reliable and trusted web hosting platform. And that has been able to fit closely into what One Server represented, right from the days of using the yellow and red into using just one circle color into what we have right now. So, like Mr. Lamide said, it's not really something that fits all. It's something that as you grow and your core values, your mission becomes more clearer, there's always that need to always, do something different. It's either to remove the high ear or to cross the T, when it comes to your branding. So that's my view about that. So when it comes to color, how many colors, I really think it's best brands work with at most two colors. At most two colors. It's except you are a brand like Google. I don't know how Google does it. They're able to maintain about 4 colors. But then that's what the brand is all about. And Microsoft, so I think Microsoft uses about 4 colors, but then it's much easier when a brand works with 2 colors or one color. Take, for instance, Coca-Cola. It's easy for us to affiliate red to Coca-Cola, and it's easy for us to affiliate blue and red with Pepsi, and it's easy for us to affiliate black and silver with Apple, right? So it just becomes really easy for people to affiliate your color to your brand and always remember it. So I don't know if Mr. Victor would like to add to that as well, or Bimeleke.
Okay. About the issue of color, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. About the issue of color, I have, let me say, experiences with a lot of clients during the brand identity design session where we have to fight on colors like, I love this color, it's passionate, I've been using this color, it's my lucky color, stuff like that. And I try to make them relate the color to what the business actually stands for. The business might be more serious, but at least has a little fun part of it. And yellow can still be something like that. You can, okay, look from, let me see, the perspective of trust. As one of the servers said that, okay, their color actually represents trust. So sticking with 2 color at most is okay. We always know that white and black are always neutral. You can use white and black, that's normal. So if you add those white and black plus the normal color, it's going to be 4. So I think 2 colors are okay. And it depends on how do I put it, how good enough your design team is so that you guys can actually come up with a brand guide, which will help you to actually consistently fit in this color into various situations and the time you post them. So 2 colors.
Enjoy. Yep.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so that's it. At least just 2 colors. Then you add plus, you can have your brown color plus white and plus black, maybe your logo variations. Whenever let's assume you're having green and blue or yellow and any other color, then always make them available in white and black. Why? Is because maybe your imagery might not actually, let me say, the theme of your imagery, the color grading of your imagery might not actually fit into the specific color of your brand. That is where white and black comes in. Instead of using any other color, white and black could come in to fit in. So,
are they using the purple room as well? Oh, okay. They're in the purple room.
no.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you,
still,
sir.
I'm still listening. Yeah.
So that is that.
Thanks a lot. That was insightful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Do we have more questions? About to wrap it up. It's been about 3 hours so far. Amazing conversations, amazing speakers, amazing insights so far. Okay, and if we're going to take one more question before we wrap it up. Okay, someone says something here. They always try to force colors to like nobody's professional perspective. Yeah, that's the client aspect. But then it's usually good when there's a brand guide, that can really help clients to say, oh, this is what I think your color should look like. This is what I think your color should look like. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Hafiz, for that. So do we have more questions? Personally, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and I trust that our participants too, they've learned, a couple of things as well. In the absence of no more questions, I think thank you, Mr. Olaniwaju Banjo. Thank you, Praying in Tongues. So I would like to know who this person is, the Praying in Tongues person, so that thanks to the speakers. Thank you to the speakers. That's from Mr. Crispin. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kelly King. Thank you, Mr. Olariwaju Banjo, Olayenri Banjo, rather. Thank you, Ms. Olamide Olayemi. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you, Mr. Hafiz. Thank you, Ayofe. Thank you, Mr. Gbemileke and Mr. Crispin. I think we've come to the end of this month. We're going to be having another session next month. And next month, we're going to be talking about mental health for CEOs, business owners, and individuals as well. So please watch out for our flyers, watch out for more information about that. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Thank you. I'm definitely leaving here better informed. Thank you, Crispin. All right. So thank you, everyone. We've come to the end of this month's event, and I would like to say till I see you in our next event. Stay safe. Enjoy life. Take life easy. Do business. Make money. Satisfy your customer. And God bless you. God bless you. God bless you all. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.